Okay, so then when I asked this question to him, he said, yes, we have answers to your questions. Please come and read this Bhagavad Gita. We have some classes also on this Bhagavad Gita. And I did that 15 years ago. I attended classes like this, and I was convinced with the answers given by those people. I was convinced. So we need to find out who created this mess, so that we can blame that person. Okay. Because we are seeing so many problems, right? Now if we find that person, we can blame him. So who created this mess? It's a very good question that to have. Okay. Now before we even go there, okay, before we even go and find that person who has created this mess, or who is the origin of this creation means creation of the material world. uh, so let's try to find what are the possible ways to explain the origin of this creation, the origin of creation and the origin of our existence in this creation. Okay. So there are two different ways to explain that, right? To explain the origin of creation and origin of our existence in the creation, there are two different ways. One is religion or spirituality, and the other one is science. So, do you know any approaches in science to explain the origin of this creation?
One is like seeing it with our eyes.
Okay.
Other one is like through inference.
No. What I'm asking is any approaches in science to explain how this universe came all about.
Or Big Bang theory.
Okay, Big Bang.
Yeah.
And what else?
That's the only thing I know.
Okay. Okay, so let's try it. How many of you know about Big Bang theory? To some extent, huh? Okay. Yeah. Looks like you have mastered. No, you have done engineering in Big Bang. Only inner engineering, not Big Bang engineering. Okay, good. You're fortunate. Okay, so let's try to understand this. I'll share. Okay, so we have two approaches here, religion and science, to explain the possible approach for the origin of the creation. Okay, but both science and religion, they were based on faith. Do you agree? Now let's talk about science. So science works on faith. Is that true or not?
True.
Okay.
To some extent.
To some extent. Okay. Now, if you tell this to scientists, they'll not agree. Okay. Scientists will say that no, science encourages you to ask questions and encourages not to believe in anything blindly. Science never encourages you to believe with faith. That's what scientists will say. But they start everything with faith. Yeah. And then there is a process to prove that hypothesis is correct or not. Okay. So there are axioms in science. So what is an axiom? Axiom is a principle that has to be met by science. In order to prove a thing, the science has to meet the axioms. For example, one such axiom is everything in science has to be mathematically measurable and physically describable. That's an axiom. So whatever they do in science, it has to meet these two requirements. What is the first requirement? physically describable, and second one is mathematically equatable. Okay, so you have to you should be able to describe or put that in a mathematical equation. Any science event, okay, you take any science event, for example Big Bang, you should be able to put that in a mathematical equation. Okay, so but it starts with faith. Okay, it starts with faith. Scientists they come up with some hypothesis, and then they prescribe a procedure or process to verify if their hypothesis is correct or not. Okay. Similarly, in religion also, religion also is based on faith. Okay, religion is big time based on faith. But just like how there is a process to verify the hypothesis is correct or not in science, similarly in religion also, or in spirituality also, there is hypothesis, and then there is a process to verify if that hypothesis is correct or not, and you can verify the results. So in one sense, both religion and science are based on faith, but it's not blind faith. It's not blind faith. Okay, because both science and religion, they encourage you to ask questions. They encourage you to ask questions and verify the results. Okay. So the first approach that's available in science to explain the origin of creation is Big Bang theory. Okay. So Big Bang theory okay, so there are two other models actually. There is chance theory, Big Bang theory, and then the third one we'll come to that. Okay, so let's talk about the chance theory first. Very simple, because Big Bang takes a little bit of time. So let's talk about chance theory. So chance is basically, for example, in cricket. Okay, at the beginning of the cricket game, what do? Toss. They toss a coin, and they decide who is going to do the batting first, head or tail, depending on head or tails. So it's basically chance. There's no reasoning, or there is no logic. There's no science actually. It's purely a chance. Who can bat first is simply based on chance. So that's the best analogy to understand the chance theory. Now, there were some scientists who explained the origin of this creation of the material world using a chance theory. They said the whole universe occurred randomly. The whole universe occurred randomly, by chance. Okay, nobody created. It just occurred randomly. It just like in the cricket game, when you toss a coin, yes, it happens randomly, right? There's no logic, there's no science or nothing. You cannot explain that. It's just random. Sometimes the Pakistan team can win the batting, and sometimes India team can get the first position in batting. It's pure chance, pure luck. Okay. So now, when scientists explained that this entire universe, this gigantic universe, okay, not just the world, right? This gigantic universe, and we know only about one universe, but there are billions of universes. In this creation, there are billions of universes. We know only about this universe. Even this universe, we know only about this world that we are living in, right? So, but there are billions of universes like this. Now, the scientists who explained chance theory as a possible approach to explain the origin of creation, what they are saying basically is all these billions of universes, the innumerable number of universes, and each universe is very gigantic. What they are saying is everything occurred randomly, by chance. Yeah, please sit. Everything occurred by chance. That's their theory. Okay, they did not postulate any equations or they could not prove anything. Obviously, they could not prove, right? So now one day, this now when you talk about our scientists, right, in the world, all the prominent exalted scientists in the history, Isaac Newton, Einstein, all these scientists, we had two sets of scientists. One set of scientists, they were atheistic scientists. That means they did not believe in God. Those were the people who came up with the chance theory and other theories to explain origin of creation. Okay, they said there is no God. Uh, the gigantic universe just appeared by itself. Okay, and fortunately, we had some scientists who were theistic scientists. They believed in God. Even though they are great scientists like Isaac Newton and Einstein, they believed in God. So, so one day, Isaac Newton, he was sitting in his office, and his friend stopped by. So his friend looks at a miniature model of the solar system on his table. As you can see on the screen here, a miniature model of solar system on the table of Isaac Newton's office. Then this friend likes this miniature model so much, and he wanted to have it. Okay. So first he asks Isaac Newton, "Can you tell me who gave you this?" Then Isaac Newton replied, saying that no, it just occurred by itself. It was not there yesterday. I opened the office this morning, and as soon as I opened the door, I saw this miniature model of solar system sitting on my table. Now the friend started laughing and said, "Hey, come on! How can such a beautiful miniature model of solar system can occur randomly? It's not possible." Then Newton said to his friend that if you don't believe that uh, a small miniature model of solar system can occur randomly by itself, by chance, how can you believe that such a gigantic universe, all the planets in the universe and innumerable number of universes can occur randomly and by chance? How can you believe that? Because his friend was atheist. He was not believing in God. So that is just some analogy to understand that you know uh, things of such a great uh, uh, of such a great complexity and you know such a large scale, they do not appear randomly. Okay, there is a intelligent creator behind such a gigantic creation. So this is chance theory. And by the way, the fundamental principle in chance theory is it should be repeatable. For example, tossing a coin in cricket game. Does that meet chance theory principle? Yes. Yes. See, first of all, you can toss the coin. The action itself is repeatable. The process itself is repeatable, and the result also is repeatable. Okay. First time you may get head, but the second time you may get tail. It's repeatable. Whereas this so-called chance theory given by some atheistic scientists, it's not repeatable, right? They are saying the entire universe occurred by chance, randomly. Now, will this ever happen again? Let's say the chance theory is correct, it's true. That means it should occur again, right? It should be repeatable, right? The process should be repeatable and the result also should be repeatable. But that never happens. Okay? So that proves that chance theory is outrightly rejected. Now, these are the own words by Isaac Newton. He said, "This most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent, powerful being." Okay? So, lucky to have scientists like this, because usually when people start doing research in science, they tend to lose faith in God, because every time they have to question things and they work on so much of logic and reasoning, they tend to forget God and they tend to lose faith on God. But fortunately, we have some theistic scientists who strongly believed in God. Okay. And he continues. He says, this being governed, this being means the Lord, governs all things not as the soul of the world, but as Lord over all, and on account of his dominion, he is to be called Lord, God, universal ruler. Okay. Now, what was the definition of God according to Newton? That's different, but at least he believed in God. Okay. Okay. So now when we look at theories like this, chance theory, Big Bang theory, and we reject these theories, with some logic and explanation, because it only takes common sense to believe in chance theory or not. Okay, you don't need to do research. You don't need to be a scientist to prove if chance theory is correct or not. Okay, it just requires some common sense. Okay. Uh, Now, all these theories, they outrightly reject the creator. Chance theory and other Big Bang theory, they outrightly reject creator. They believe that there is no one single person who created the entire creation. They either say that the entire universe occurred randomly, as in the chance theory, or as it is mentioned in the Big Bang theory, everything occurred from a singular point. Okay. But whenever you see any beautiful creation in this material world, for example, you see a beautiful painting, okay, Mona Lisa painting. So whenever you see a beautiful painting, what is the first thing that you'll ask? Who painted this? Who painted this, right? Or whenever you taste nice food, some delicious sumptuous food, what's the first question that you'll ask? Who cooked this? Huh? Or whenever you see a nice garland for the deities, the first question that you'll ask is, who made these garlands? So, whenever you see any beautiful creation in the material world, the first question you'll ask is, who is the creator? So it is automatically implied that creation means there is a creator. Creation means there is a creator. Now, these are some facts given here to appreciate how uh, how complex or how wonderful this universe is. Okay, uh, the human brain can store. One such fact is the human brain can store more information than all the libraries in the world. Not only that, every cell in our body is more powerful than the architecture of New York City. A tiny cell in our body. How many cells are there in our body approximately? Couple of trillions. That's what I heard. Okay, couple of trillions. Couple of trillions of cells in our body, and the architecture or the complexity of each single cell is more complex than the gigantic New York City. Now you can imagine how complex this body itself is. And such a complex body just occurred randomly, without any creator, without any intelligent creator. No, it's not possible. Okay, and these are the facts produced by scientists. So now what we are trying to do is uh, by understanding these principles here, we are trying to establish the existence of God using four methods. The first one is creation implies creator. Creation implies creator. And then the three other methods that we are going to discuss are uh, law implies a lawmaker. For example, in any city or state, there are certain laws. For the city or state to function normally, there are some laws, statewide laws, citywide laws, and there are some nationwide laws. For anything to operate in a proper order, there are some laws. Similarly, there are some laws that govern the operation of the entire universe. There are some laws, universal laws. The universal laws govern how things operate in the world, or how people function in the world. Okay. Now, the second method that we are going to discuss to establish the existence of God is law implies lawmaker. And the third one that we are going to discuss is design implies designer. Whenever you see any beautiful design, a beautiful design cannot occur randomly without a designer behind it. Okay. For example, Tesla, such a nice car, such a wonderful design. It's a wonderful engineering, actually. So can such a wonderful creation happen randomly by chance? No. Whenever there is a wonderful creation or design like that, there is a designer. So creation implies creator, law implies lawmaker, design implies designer. Okay. Uh, so let's discuss this. So the first one we discussed is creation implies creator. Now after the creator has created the living entities, now we see some people are rich, some people are poor, some people are beautiful and handsome, some people are not so beautiful and not so handsome, some people are born blind, born deaf, and so on. Why there are so many disparities? Why there are so many disparities in the material world like this? Is it random? If it is random, it's very unfair, right? Isn't it? If it is random, it will be unfair. God making somebody rich and somebody very poor, it's an unfair treatment. So things like this do not happen randomly without any proper explanation. Okay. So more shorts showing the disparities in the world. So who decides? Karma. Yeah. So karma is one of the universal laws. Okay. There are so many universal laws, and karma is one among them. So who created karma, or who created these laws? That if you do good things, you will get punya karma. If you do bad things, you will suffer from the papa karma. So there is a lawmaker, just like a justice, Supreme Court justice. He makes the laws for the citizens to follow. Similarly, the universal laws are created by the lawmaker. Not only making the laws, but he makes sure that the laws are maintained. Okay. Making the laws is one thing, and making sure that the laws are maintained is another thing. Just like the Supreme Court justice, he makes the laws, and with the help of the local police, he ensures that the laws are maintained by the citizens. And if the laws are not obeyed, then the Supreme Court justice, he knows what to do. Okay, the judge knows what to do. So in life, we we have a choice to choose certain things, but there are many things that we don't choose. We think we are choosing everything, but we are only choosing few things. We are able to choose only few things. Many things, they're already chosen for you. They're not in our control. Okay? For example, we choose job, a wife or husband. Wife or husband also, to some extent, we can choose. But as they say, marriages are made in heaven. And everybody will be surprised after marriage, what kind of person I have chosen. That's why if somebody says we choose wife or husband, it may not be so true. Maybe to some extent it's true, because we make our profile and then post it on matrimonial or give it to some known acquaintances, asking them to find a girl or boy for us. We make some attempt. That's why we think that we are choosing, but the ground reality is we are not choosing. Okay. The type of car, the type of job, maybe we have more control on these two things, but not wife or husband. especially on wife. An apartment, yeah, you have more control on this. Whether you want to buy an apartment in Seattle or Bellevue, Sammamish, Redmond, you have more control. And many more things. But we don't choose our parents, we don't choose our beauty, we don't choose our intelligence. You see, some people are very intelligent right from very childhood, and some people are very learned from childhood. Music and dance and all the fine arts, they excel from early childhood only, as if they have mastered these skills for 10 or 20 years. So they are just continuing their journey from previous life. Okay. Our birth, we don't choose our birth, our parents. So who chooses? The person who made laws about karma, karmic laws. Okay. And by the way, it's not random. Okay. So not only the laws, not only the karmic laws that are affecting the people in the society, but there are universal laws made by this lawmaker. Those universal laws govern all the planets, uh, how planets move within their orbits, and how one planet moves around another planet. Uh, so if you look at it right, we are just hanging in the space. We think we are stationary and we are happy. We are in a very nice position. But the reality is we are just hanging in the space. We are part of this gigantic material world uh, called the so-called Earth planet, and this entire Earth planet is just hanging in the space. How is that possible? And there are other planets, moving around. How is that possible? Such a complex, solar system functioning without any disturbance. If the Earth planet moves even 1 inch towards this side or that side, then there will be havoc. There will be tsunamis, earthquakes, floods, and so many things. So there is a surgical precision, or even more higher precision than surgical precision actually. That is governing all these planets in the world. uh, so it is that person who has created the universal laws who is governing the movement of the planets. And also we know so many laws from science. Law of conservation of energy, law of thermodynamics, uh, Boyd's law. What are the other laws that you know?
Gravity,
Law of gravity, yes. Yeah.
entropy,
Entropy, yes. Energy is never wasted nor created. What is that?
Energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
Not destroyed. Yeah. Huh? Newton's law. Yeah. Third law. Yeah. Yeah.
Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.
Yeah. So there are so many laws. Scientists only discovered these laws. They did not create the laws, right? They only discovered the laws. So Newton, when he saw that apple was falling on the ground, he asked a question: why the apple is falling down? Why can't it go up? Then he found that it's because of gravity. The apple is falling down. It's not like Newton created law of gravity. There is a separate lawmaker who made all these universal laws. Okay? Law of physical optics, laws of thermodynamics. Okay, so when such complex things in the world, in the solar planetary system, uh, are happening so precisely and so perfectly, how can that scientists will agree? Scientists will agree that the planets are moving within their orbits with perfect precision. That they agree. They do not agree that who is controlling the planets. They only agree to that extent that they're rotating in their orbits with perfect precision. They do not say that the planets are just rotating randomly. So today, if sun planet wishes to rotate, in clockwise, and tomorrow counterclockwise, they are not saying that. They're agreeing to the fact that there is a order. It's not a random thing, but it's an order. Order means there is a proper how do I put it? Hmm? Orbits. Now I'm trying to define the word order. Yeah, proper way. Okay, let's put it that way. Proper way. Okay, there's a proper way for things to. There's a proper way why things are functioning in that way. Okay, they're not using the word chance or random there. But when it comes to things in life like birth, beauty, intelligence, all these things, then they are calling it random. Okay, that's not true. Okay, yeah, there are more laws mentioned here. Okay, so when there are powerful laws like this, it's very unreasonable to say that there is no lawmaker. Okay. Now we have another theistic scientist who believed in God. So Einstein, once he said, there is a perfect brain behind all these natural physical laws. So law implies lawmaker. What is the previous one? Creation implies creator. Now this is another one. Law implies a lawmaker. Okay. Now this is design implies designer. Okay. So all the scientists and everybody, even the theistic people in the society, just like in the scientist group, how we have theistic scientists and atheistic scientists, the society also, there are many people who believe in God and other people who do not believe in God. So people who do not believe in God, they also say that when they look at a powerful aeroplane like this, they say that there is a designer. Okay, there is a mechanical, civil engineer, designer behind all these beautiful designs. But when they look at an eagle who can fly very freely without any money, without any failure, uh, uh, is it fair to say that there is no designer behind such a beautiful design, which enables the eagle to fly on its own? No, it's not unfair. It's not fair. There are many powerful designs, in our creation. Can anybody think of any powerful designs? See, every day we see so many powerful things and beautiful things. But unless you hear things from this perspective, unless you hear from a different perspective, you will not appreciate those as much as we should. So look at different things in the world that you see every day. And can anybody describe some powerful designs?
Anything you fish, heart, brain.
Yeah, yeah. See, most of the time, not most of the time, all the time, we take all these things for granted. We don't appreciate the person who created this, or we don't even appreciate that we are given such a precious thing, you know, such a precious thing as human birth, first of all, as we discussed in the last week class. Yeah? And there are so many beautiful flowers that we see, we take them for granted. We simply go in the morning and just pluck the flowers. We don't even appreciate. We don't appreciate the beauty of the flower. We don't appreciate the creator behind the flower. So many things in our life, actually. Actually, the moment we start appreciating all these different things in the world, then your life will become so beautiful. Your life will become so beautiful. So all the time we try to find faults in others, huh? And we never appreciate the good qualities that a person possesses. The best way to uh, become happy. Remember we discussed the happiness chemicals. One of the happiness chemicals is produced when you appreciate others. Not only other people, but when you appreciate things in the world also. Then you get happiness chemicals. So for your own happiness, we must learn to appreciate things and people in the world. Okay, not for anything else, but for our own happiness, we must learn to appreciate things and people in the world. And it's not easy. Okay, it doesn't come naturally. You have to make an effort to appreciate things and people. We think that, oh, appreciate what it is there. What is there? I just say that Akshaya, right? I just say that, oh, Akshaya has a beautiful smile, but it doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come naturally. The effort to appreciate other things and people, it doesn't come naturally. It comes with practice and with explicit effort. You need to make an explicit effort to start seeing beautiful things and appreciate them. Otherwise, most of the times we take things for granted. For example, when there is nice food cooked in the home. So how many times Jay appreciated you, Lakshmi? He used to. Very good. He used to. Now he takes you for granted. See, this is a testimony. Yeah, that's just a joke, okay? I know he'll be appreciating every day, otherwise he'll not have food.
I will appreciate today for sure.
Yes, today for sure. Today for sure. So, so like that, there are so many complex designs. For example, bats, the bird or animal bat, gabilam, right? So, what do you know about bats?
They fly with sound, making sound,
Why?
because they cannot see.
They cannot see. Yeah. See, they cannot see, but they can fly with rapid speed. How is that possible? The person who has done engineering will explain.
I think it makes the sounds and it observes the reflection of the sound, and based on the reflection, it knows where the obstacles are, and based on that, it will track.
Yeah. Now let's say there are 10 bats in this room. Can the bats still fly by producing sound, and then with the resonance, can they still fly? When there are 10 bats in the room.
Yeah, they should.
How? Will they not get disturbed? In India, when people honk, when 10 people honk, when one person honks, you know who is honking. But when there are 10 people honking at the same time, you don't know who is honking. The frequency varies. The frequency of the sound produced by each bat is very unique, and it's not matched with the sound produced by any other bat. So even though there are multiple bats in the same place, but the frequency of each bat's sound is different. And they can recognize the frequency of the sound that is resonated back, and that's how they are able to fly. See, such a complex design. Huh? Now, have you ever observed a spider making a spider web? Hmm?
It's always hexagon.
Yeah, it's always hexagonal. And what's the raw material that they use? Huh? Saliva, only saliva. Now scientists were trying to reproduce that design, and they never succeeded. In one sense, it's very simple, right? Say a scientist who has built such a big skyscraper, for him, building a hexagon shaped object is not so difficult. But the key point is making that with saliva. The human beings, a scientist can never do that, can never reproduce that. Blood, can scientists reproduce one drop of blood? No. So such a complex design. So the material things, we tend to believe that there is a designer, and we agree. We have strong faith in that. Okay, even though we have not seen the engineer who has created an aeroplane, we believe that yes, there is an engineer. Okay, we have strong faith in that. But when it comes to the living entities, we have tough time to believe that there is a creator behind. Okay, so more comparisons between material objects and the living entities. So here on the left side you see a drawing, a painting of a rose flower, and then the right side you see a natural flower. Okay. So when people look at the drawing or painting of a rose flower, they know who is the creator, and they believe that there's a creator. And the first question they ask is who is the creator, who is the painter, who painted this. But when they see a beautiful flower with a nice aroma, fragrance, they never question who created this. They never question. Okay. Now another scientist, theistic scientist, Kelvin. If you think strongly enough, you will be forced by science to believe in God. Why is that so? Why did Kelvin say this? If you think strongly enough, you will be forced by science to believe in God. Does he mean to say that science is able to prove God? No, right? That's not what this statement means. So, how do we interpret this statement here?
Science to prove something, takes something from the existence. It cannot say where the actual existence came from.
Yeah, very
It
good.
always infer with what exists rather than something new.
Yeah. So science only can describe about things that are known. Science cannot describe things that are unknown. Okay. Or anything that's not verifiable, that cannot be described, uh, that cannot be put into a mathematical equation, anything that cannot be physically measurable, mathematically quantifiable, that they reject. For example, mind. Scientists reject the mind. Anyway, they reject the presence of soul also. But mind, everybody accepts or acknowledges that the existence of mind, right? But scientists, there are some scientists who deny the existence of mind because they cannot see it, they cannot prove it, they cannot put mind into a mathematical equation, they cannot physically describe it. Brain they can, but mind they cannot. But does that mean there's no brain, there's no mind? There is mind. So whatever science cannot prove or cannot explain, then uh, then we tend to believe that it's only by the act of God. That's what he means to say here. If you think strongly enough, you'll be forced by science to believe in God. Because there are so many things in this world for which science has no answers. Then Kelvin saying that you'll be forced by science to believe in God. Okay? And only theistic scientists will say that. The atheistic scientists, they'll either say chance theory or some other theory. Okay?
Most of them, I think they say absence of proof is not the. I mean, they're not able to prove it. That doesn't mean that that God is the cause behind it. That's what they say. They're not able to disprove or prove. Therefore, they say like until I get like more solid proof, I cannot like accept one.
Yeah.
They just like defer it till they can get something else.
Differing are those people who are theistic scientists. Atheistic scientists, they outrightly reject the presence of God. For example, Stephen Hawking, he outrightly rejected God. Yeah, he outrightly rejected God, and he asked everyone to go to Mars, or which planet he asked everyone to go to? I think Mars. Yeah, he said there'll be more dangers to earthly planet in the years to come in future. It is high time everyone must escape to Mars or Moon. I don't know. So Stephen Hawking. Now where is he now? So he outrightly rejected God. Yeah. So what's the time?
6:50. 6:53 or
6. 7:50. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 7:55. Yeah. Okay. I think we can stop here because we're going to begin another section in this topic. What do we mean when we say God? Because so far we have understood that we did not discuss Big Bang theory, right? Okay, we'll just discuss Big Bang theory in a minute and then we'll conclude the topic today. So Big Bang theory, what they say is this entire universe originated from a singular point. Once upon a time, there was a singular point with infinitesimal density, and that singular point, under extreme temperatures, it started exploding, and then this universe came about. So basically, they are telling the origin of the universe is that one singular point. So one fine day, a big bang, big explosion happened, and then the universe occurred. So now using simple see, first of all, you cannot prove Big Bang theory. The scientists who, there's a Belgian scientist actually who postulated this Big Bang theory. Interestingly, he was a priest in a church also. Okay, even though being in religion, he discarded the existence of God. He discarded God's position as a creator of this universe. Rather, he said, in fact, he reduced the position of God to a singular point. That's what we can say. Okay? The position of God is so high, but he reduced that to a singular point. So that scientist, that Belgian scientist who postulated Big Bang theory, he himself mentioned a disclaimer in the very beginning of the theory saying that this Big Bang theory is mathematically not quantifiable and physically indescribable. You can Google later on and search and get the postulate of Big Bang theory. You can read this in that PDF file. In the very first section, he mentioned this Big Bang theory is mathematically not quantifiable and physically indescribable. And then he wrote so much about Big Bang theory. So first of all, scientists, they themselves, they cannot verify it, whether if their theory is correct or not. Now, what about common men like us? We can never verify that. We can never do any experiment to verify if Big Bang theory is correct or not. But using common sense, we can verify. So whenever Lakshmi, so going back to your kitchen, okay? So let's say there is a big explosion in your kitchen. Will you start seeing nice recipes, gulab jamuns, laddus coming out of your kitchen? No, right? Entire kitchen will be demolished. So it's a very common sense to understand that Big Bang cannot create things. Rather, it will destroy things. So the so-called scientists who are supposed to be so learned and scholarly, they don't have simple common sense. Common sense is very uncommon. So if a person who does not believe in God, he is superior than the scientists who are believing in Big Bang theory. A person who does not believe in Big Bang theory because of this common sense is definitely far superior than a so-called scholarly scientist who believes in Big Bang theory. Okay, that's for sure. What's the other flaw in Big Bang theory?
There are many flaws.
Many flaws.
If
Yeah.
you say that everything is in a single point, then the immediate question happens: what is outside that point?
Yeah.
Who created that part that is outside?
First of all, who created the Big Bang, right?
Yeah.
Who caused the bang?
And what was there before?
Huh? Who caused the bang? And whenever for anything to explode into something, there should be a container, right? There should be the receiving end also, right? So many flaws. But still, even until today, the Stephen Hawking, so he was completely believing in Big Bang theory. Yeah, that's why he outrightly rejected God, and even now, right? There are so many researchers going on to prove the existence of the origin of the creation, like God particle. At least they are using the word God, but they don't mean to refer to the God. They are just calling it with the name God particle. Okay, again they are reducing God's position to one single particle. Okay, God's particle, quantum physics, these are all the attempts to still figure out the origin of the creation. Okay, so I think we'll stop here. We'll continue with the next section in the next class. So how many of you are not in the WhatsApp group? You're not there, right, Akshay? You are there in the WhatsApp group? Okay. But did you come to the previous classes?
No.
This is the first class. Okay. Yeah. So every week it happens on Sunday. Only this week it's Saturday. Yeah. So please try to come every Sunday. Yeah. So rest all are in the WhatsApp group, right? How about you? What's your name? Ramesh. You are in the WhatsApp group. Okay. You are there.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is there, and that means you are there. Yes. Okay. Online. Kirtana still there? Okay, she left. Okay. I think the Aarti just started. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll continue next week. Okay. Hare Krishna.